kind of cater it for Earth Day feels. And if you can see over here, I brought in some plant friends, some of my smaller plants to join us, because why not, right? I hope that everyone is having a beautiful week. The sun is shining here in Dayton. Finally, it is warm enough to enjoy a walk outside. So I went outside today. Perfect timing for Earth Day. And like I said, for our journaling practice today, we're going to cater it since tomorrow's Earth Day. Why not make it a little fun? Before we start with that, I wanted to also mention a practice that I do every year for Earth Day that you might be interested in joining me. For the last 5 years or so, maybe longer actually, 6 years, every Earth Day I've decided to make one very small change that is more like environmental friendly. So now 6 years later, I've made 6 changes, and all of that adds up. It's, I think we have a tendency to feel really like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to change all these things. And then we feel really discouraged when we aren't able to live up to the expectation we have of ourselves. But if we can make small changes throughout a long time, we end up having a really big impact. So for example, one year I switched from a Keurig to a normal coffee pot because I realized the amount of Keurig's cups that I was using. They do make reusable Keurig cups if you want to keep your Keurig. I just drink a lot of coffee, so it got to be annoying to switch out every cup. So I switched to a normal coffee pot, so there's less plastic for that. One year, I really committed to using reusable water bottles that are glass, not plastic reusable water bottles. This one does have silicone to keep it from breaking if I drop it or something. But I've had this water bottle for many years now. It serves me well. One year I decided to give up straws, which is kind of difficult. Sometimes they still give you straws at restaurants. Again, it's a good practice too of being gentle with yourself when you've committed to doing something and something might go wrong, or you might get served a straw at lunch, or you might start drinking out of one and forget. And so being gentle with yourself. And so last year, for those who just joined, I'm talking about how every Earth Day I have made one small change that felt good for me, that made me feel good about benefiting the environment. And so last year I gave up using disposable plastic stuff in packed lunches. Tony and I both take our lunches to work. He's still working. I'm at home. So obviously that doesn't make a difference now for me, but no plastic bags for lunches, no plasticware for lunches, using reusable things for that. And again, I didn't say no plastic for anything in my house. I just made one small change that said, okay, it really feels doable. I can use reusable bags or containers or reusable servingware in lunches. And again, that adds up. So I'm going to decide what I am going to give up this year, or change this year, or manifest this year. So if anyone has any suggestions, let me know. All right, so let's get started with our journaling for today. We are going to be moving through a gratitude practice. And this is something I'm adapting it, if we want for adapting it to nature for Earth Day to celebrate this week. That's what I'm going to do. But gratitude journaling is it is a practice that I have chosen to do every single morning. I really believe in morning routines and kind of having a morning ritual. Mine looks like I get a cup of coffee. I drink water, I drink a full glass of water. Sometimes I put lemon in it. I drink coffee and I do my gratitude journal. And it kind of just sets me off for the day. That's every morning, that's what I do. And gratitude journaling, basically every day I choose 5 things that I'm grateful for within the last 24 hours. So if I'm doing it in the morning, I think about the day before. or, what ours already happened. And they're really specific. It's easy to be like, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my, job, whatever. But when we look for really specific instances, really specific moments that brought us joy or we can feel gratitude about in our day, then we train our minds to look for things to be grateful for. If we know that we're going to be writing 5 things down every single morning, then we are literally, just like you train your body for different physical feats, we train our minds to start seeing and noticing and being present for moments that bring us joy or peace or love. And so we start really to become mindful of those things. So, for example, it could be like, my partner made coffee this morning, so it smelled like coffee when I woke up. Or a friend at the grocery or someone at the grocery store like let me go in front of them in line because I had less than them to check out. Just little things like that happen in our day-to-day lives that we might be like, oh, that was nice in the moment, but when we allow ourselves to reflect on those things, we really are putting into perspective the small moments that even in the midst of heartache or trial or right now crisis, we can still find things to be grateful for. And it doesn't make us like not realize what is going on in the big picture, but sometimes just starting your day with a moment of grounding gratitude can be a really beautiful, beautiful practice. So if we want to focus that gratitude today on things that the earth has given us or nature or things that we've experienced, but we can do that. Or if you would rather pick your moments of gratitude outside of that as well, it's your practice, so you can do whatever you want. I would suggest 5. 5 seems to be a really good number. When we get beyond 5, it can get kind of hard to really remember. And I think part of this practice that is most important is when I write something down. For example, today there was a bee in my house. I really love bees, if you don't know this about me. There was a bee that had come in my house, and I put the little cup over it and then put the little plastic and let it go. And for me, I was really grateful that I found the bee and I got to save it. And my cat, who likes to hunt flies and things, didn't get stung by a bee or whatever. So saving that bee brought me joy today. That's specific. That is a specific thing. And in my gratitude practice, writing that down, I allowed myself to feel that small moment of joy, that small moment of gratitude. Another example is I went for a walk today, and the bulbs here in Ohio, like tulips and daffodils, yeah, and like all the other, beautiful bulbs that come up at springtime, that every single year they show up. They show up at spring every single year with their beautiful colors. And on my walk today, there's so many planted in the yard. And so I wrote, I'm really grateful for the bulbs that bring life to spring every single year. And when I wrote that, I gave myself a moment to feel that gratitude. Other earth examples, like I have a bunch of purple violets that are just scattered all over our yard. And while that means that we don't have great grass in our backyard, I love that my backyard is covered in purple flowers. And so writing like the violets that came up in our yard this year and letting myself feel that gratitude. So if you can think of 5 things that you have experienced in the last 24 hours, like really put it. So if it's 1 o'clock Eastern time right now, think about yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, last night, this morning, and think of 5 specific things that you feel grateful for, and go ahead and write them down. Like I said, I do this every morning. I find it to be, I've tried a lot of journaling practices to do regularly. This is the one practice, this gratitude practice is the one practice that I have found is doable. It takes about 5 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much I want to sit there and think about it. But really starting my day from that footing of gratitude, again, it trains your mind to walk through your day looking for things to be grateful for. And perception right now, specifically right now, every day, but right now, perception is really big. Holly, I know that you do gratitude journaling too. So for me, this has been really grounding. And there have been times in my life where the last thing that I wanted to do was look at things to be grateful for. There has been heartache, there has been loss, there has been fear, there has been, just human experiences. And sometimes it feels weird to be like, wow, I feel like the world is ending right now, and searching for gratitude almost feels inappropriate because the world is hurting in this pandemic right now. Or if you lost someone, if someone has passed on and you're grieving, sometimes it can feel really bizarre to be seeking gratitude in those moments. But as we were talking about, if you tuned into last week's conversation, that both and concept, we can experience gratitude and grief at the same time. Just because we are experiencing fear or grief or sadness in the present circumstance, maybe for you, that is the COVID pandemic, being stuck at home. Maybe for you, I have heard terrible, heartbreaking stories of people not being able to be with their loved ones who are incredibly sick because of the current situation, or people who are having to, have birth and no one can be present, or they can only have one person present and they had planned on having, other people there. And it can feel very difficult, or almost, like I said, almost like inappropriate to find gratitude amidst everything going on. But we are unable to fill other people's cups. We are unable to be of service to those who need us and be available for the people who we can influence unless we are turning on the faucet for ourselves. Does that make sense? So when we choose gratitude every morning, when we choose to sit down right now and write 5 things, specific things, not vague, not I'm grateful for my home. Why? What about your home are you grateful for? Are you grateful for the way that the sun shines into the kitchen when you walk in to make your morning coffee? Are you grateful for the view of the sunset that you have every evening? Are you grateful for the yard that keeps your kids busy, or the, cozy corner where you can read your books or get work done? What specifically are you grateful for in this moment today about your home? Or I'm grateful for my husband, or I'm grateful for my wife or my boyfriend, girlfriend, partner. What about them are you grateful for? Are you grateful that they had a conversation with you last night, that they were patient with your feelings, that they held space for you? What did they do, or what space did they hold, or what did they represent to you in the last 24 hours that you are grateful for? Maybe you're grateful for your pets. Why? You're grateful that your pets made you laugh, that yesterday your cat's head got stuck in a cup or a sock or something, and it made you laugh. Or you're grateful that your dog keeps you wonderful company on your daily walks. Specific. Because when we get specific with our gratitude, then as we move through our day and those moments come to us, we have a moment, we're able to recognize in the moment, this is something that I will write down tomorrow. And that's when we start to fully appreciate people. I've noticed in my marriage, since I started this practice 2 years ago, so right before my husband and I got married, and seeing the difference of appreciation that I can feel towards him because we're together every day. And there are times, like any if you live with anyone for long enough, you'll disagree about something. But being able to see, like, okay, I have pages and pages and pages and pages of gratitude that has been filled with him making dinner for me when I came home late for class, him making coffee before I got up, him taking care of me when I'm sick, or holding space for me when I'm upset, or listening to all of my dreams and aspirations. All of these things then put perspective to what I'm going through currently. And when we have those written down and we allow ourselves to go back, yes, Holly, it does. It completely trains your brain. It trains your brain to find gratitude in the moment and also to put in perspective what's going on. Right now, things are weird at best. Things are weird at best and devastating at worst. But if we can put things into perspective, if we can find small moments in our day and in our lives in which we can hold gratitude for, then we are moving towards a more content and stable mental health. So, if anyone has anything that they're grateful for that they want to share, I would love to hear. If you want to comment, I'll share. I'm on both Instagram and Facebook, so everyone can see. If you want to share something, I would love to hear something that happened in the last 24 hours that you're grateful for. I can share a couple of mine. I shared some that were more nature themed, like the beautiful bulbs that are popping up. Anna Michael said, smelling the burn pile and taking me back to camping memories. Yes, I love that. Her dog allowing her to bathe her without too much of a fight. Her husband, Barry, bathing the baby and washing the bottles. Love him. Warmer weather allowing us to take a walk yesterday and a phone call with a childhood friend. Those are so beautiful. I love that. And again, like we can feel stuck. I feel stuck. I had a really, really hard end of last week. Feeling stuck at home and kind of losing that feeling of gratitude. And I Friday, Saturday, Sunday didn't do my gratitude practice. And I felt it. Like I felt, like I'm home, and I'm home, and I'm home, and I'm home, and I'm home. And it's so easy to lose sight of something that we've worked so hard to like put those glasses on. It's really easy to lose our glasses. I don't know about you, but I lose a lot of sunglasses and feel like spend all that money on sunglasses just to lose them. And sometimes it's like that. But in that situation, like Anna Michael talking about smelling the burn pile and taking her back to camping memories, that puts in perspective that, yeah, like right now sucks. It can suck a lot to be stuck at home. But there are things that either can give us joy in the moment or that can remind us of beautiful moments already in our lives or that we've experienced in our lives. Holly said, went running by the pond, met an older lady who talked to me about earthing and wellness and many other things. She approached me by the water and told me about herself and spending every day with her dad. I love it. I love it. I think that right now we're able to see a lot of really beautiful humanity. Like I said, the example earlier of someone letting you go in front of them in line at the grocery store. I had that happen to me yesterday. I had to run to the store. I just had a couple things. Someone had like a huge cart full and they were like, please go ahead of me. And just small things like that. And again, like putting in perspective, like Holly said, spending time with her dad every day, like the fact that some of us get to do that. We get to be with our family and we get to love them. Like Anna Michael getting to be with her baby and her husband, and me getting to be with my husband at the end of every day. And Holly also said, stumbled upon a man and woman who were broadcasting music outside the windows of an assisted living and nursing home. They were listening out their windows. Yesterday, she had 20 things happen. It was magical. That sounds magical. So, and the thing that's beautiful about this gratitude practice, why I choose to do it in the morning, again, I usually choose just to do 5 things. But what's really nice about reflecting on the day before is you can kind of take it to, if it was a really good day, if you had a magical day like Holly did yesterday, then being able to bring that into the next day, that next morning, being like, wow, yesterday was magical. I had these things happen. I'm documenting them. It feels good. It feels purposeful. Documenting them and bringing that joy, bringing that magic into the next day and starting the day like that, that really, again, puts in perspective kind of where we sit in the world. And on the opposite, if it was a rough day the day before, and it's hard to think of 5 things to be grateful for because maybe things are rough at home with your family, or things are rough with job or finances or whatever, really sitting and finding those things that, despite the heartache or the struggle, choosing to find gratitude in that instead of dwelling in the negative, we then are training our mind, and we can sit there in the morning and say, okay, you know what, yesterday was a rough day and I still found things to be grateful for. Today is going to be great. Like, that was yesterday, today's a new day, and I can move forward with finding gratitude even in the hardest of days. So I really encourage you guys to try this again tomorrow. Like I said, I just have, it's become part of my morning ritual. I've tried a lot within the last probably 7 years. I've tried a lot of different morning routines, morning like meditation type things. I find this to be the most accessible. You can do this anywhere. You can be at home, you can be at a friend's house, you can be at your family's house. I have a notebook that I put my a specific notebook for gratitude that I just take with me. It's pretty small. You can do it in your phone. You can do it wherever. It is nice to be able to look back, throughout time and see all of the small moments and some big moments to be grateful that you have been grateful for. And it doesn't take a super long time. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe. And just starting your day with that feeling of, okay, I made the most of my day yesterday. Look at these things I have to be grateful for. And today I'm going to search for things to write about tomorrow. And like we were saying, it just trains your mind to search for gratitude when like, I'm gonna write about this the next day. So if you do try it tomorrow, or if you continue with this practice, I would love to hear how it works for you. Always feel free to share those things with me. And I am also working on a self-care starter kit, I guess is maybe what I'm going to call it. That is, that's like 30 days of self-care. I just started on it yesterday. So if anyone has ideas or something that they would like to see in it, I would love suggestions, or I would love your thoughts or your feedback on what you would like to see in like kind of a guided self-care starter kit. So I'm thinking like 30 days and splitting it into mind, body, and soul, and then having things that like specific, like journaling prompt for your mind, like journaling prompts, maybe a couple activities that are accessible to anyone, talking very briefly about like body acceptance. So for body, not so much like nutrition and fitness, but more of like body acceptance and nourishment and our relationship with the physical self. And then for soul, I'm really trying to figure out how to make like an accessible recommendations or resources for anybody who wants to check it out. So I'm thinking of like releasing it maybe May 1st, since I think right now we could use some self-care. So if you have any thoughts, I would love to hear them. Message me. You can comment on these videos later. They're up on Instagram. They're up for 24 hours. On Facebook, it's up on my profile forever. So Thanks, friends. It was really nice to talk to you. Thank you for motivating me to put mascara on today, because it's the small things, right? I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day and the sun is shining wherever you are, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay? Okay.